Boom! Good evening and welcome to the Week 5 edition of the College Football Pits Analysis from yours truly, Jackson Johnson, and my good buddy, Austin Williams from Sports Talk with Austin. Sorry about the long wait. We were just kind of waiting it out for the Will and Jeffrey CFB recap preview show to end. That way we can start after that, out of respect
Mm-hmm.
for our friends, of course. And we're sorry kept you waiting a little bit. And this time there wasn't
Yeah,
any technical
apologies.
difficulties. We were just getting some stuff out the way as well. And no
Yep.
worries, we are here. And we are ready and raring to go.
Yes, apologies. And we're here a little day early because we had some things come up on our end. But it's all good, Jackson. It's never too early to talk college football, though. That's the
No.
thing.
Oh,
I've learned you talk college football any time of the week, and it's going to be a good time. And just a little programming note for our peoples out there. We will also be back next Tuesday instead of Wednesday as well. And then we will be back on normal schedule and time again.
yup.
So, these next couple, after next week, we should be back to normal scheduling. Everything should be good. We're still going to do Saturdays per normal. That's not going to change. It's just our Wednesday show got moved up, and then it got moved. Time got moved. Life is just chaotic, but we're here now, and I'm glad to be here. So,
Oh,
Jackson,
yeah.
what better way to go ahead?
Yeah, we're getting ready. We're all set and ready and raring to go. And especially with
Mhm.
what's going on, well, not so much with Army Temple, but what's going on. Oh, let me see. There we go. Beautifully done. Gonna be starting off with Virginia Tech and Miami. Get out here, Ed. You got business.
On Friday night, Virginia Tech, Miami should be a fun game. I think we'll find out if Miami's the real deal or not. I think Jackson, this is going to be a game that if Miami wins, like it'll be looked at as okay, you did what you're supposed to, Miami, good job. But if Virginia Tech wins, Jackson, this would be considered one of the bigger upsets this year because as of late, Jackson, Virginia Tech has not looked that good. I mean, they lost to Vanderbilt week 1. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just you're not supposed to lose to Vandy. And we'll get to Missouri later, but they also almost blew the pooch too, so they're no better.
Oh
But
yeah.
Virginia Tech, they seem like that team, Jackson, when you least expect them to win a game, it's a game that they win. In Miami, they always blow a game they shouldn't.
Yeah. They are weird like that.
I mean,
They
and the
just
thing too is
are.
Jackson. And the thing about this too, Jackson, is Miami's been really consistent this year. Cam Ward, that offense has been looking great. They've been playing good football. Miami's been beating up on their cupcakes and not keeping it close or or trying to make it look like they're trying to keep it close. They've been doing a good job of running away with it and winning. As Virginia Tech, they look more on the sloppy side. And because of that, Jackson, I'm believing in Miami. I'm gonna take the Canes to win this, Jackson. I'm gonna take them to win 31-14 at home. I think they win big.
I feel like it's gonna be a 38-21 victory for Miami.
Ooh, Washington,
Yeah.
Rutgers on Big Ten Friday night.
Oh yeah.
This is
Can you believe we're calling
this is
that a
kind
Big Ten conference game? It's like 10 years ago it wasn't.
of this is true, but we're in the new world of realignment now, Jackson, where anything is possible. I will say, Jackson, I think this is going to be an interesting game because people want to know how legit Rutgers really is. Because to this point, they've kind of had a softer side of the schedule. I know they went up to Blacksburg this past weekend and got a W in a tough road environment. But now that they're starting to get into the meat of their Big Ten schedule, we're going to kind of see what wrong team. Rutgers is made of. And as for Washington Jackson, so far for them, they've looked good. I mean, they've looked good. I mean, other than their loss in the Apple Cup, I mean, Washington Jackson coming into this year was one of those teams you didn't really know a lot about because they lost their head coach, they lost their quarterback, they lost their receiving core, they lost a good chunk of their weapons on the defense side of the ball as well, almost in a complete rebuild. But they bring in Will Rogers, Jedd Fisch comes to town, and it seems like Washington's like teetering on trying to be a really, really good football team in the Big Ten. Like they've shown strides of being a good team. But it is in Rutgers. It is at Rutgers. And Greg Schiano is a really good football coach.
Agreed.
Jackson, I'll let you pick. Do you have any thoughts on this game?
Dave Valensky says it's going to be a 24-13 victory by Rutgers. He's a huge believer in Rutgers. And I'll tell you one thing. So am I, because I got Rutgers winning 28-17 against Washington.
You know what, Jackson? I'm going to pick Washington to beat Rutgers on the road. I'm going to go Washington 24-20. I think they win a hard-fought game on a Friday night. I think they'll find a way to win this game. And oh boy, we've got BYU at Baylor. Oh boy. Jackson. Oh boy. I'll let you take it away, good buddy. What are your thoughts on this game?
Oh man, Baylor BYU, that's going to be the ultimate battle between the Mormons and the Baptists. That's going to be a huge one right there. And BYU's coming off a huge victory over Kansas State from the other night, and oh my god, that was huge right there. I just wonder if we're going to see another upset in the making from Baylor. I want to see BYU beat Baylor, honestly, because I want to see BYU Utah have College Game Day or bidding and kickoff go to town for the Holy War for November 9th. But I mean, that's another time for another day. But I just kind of feel like my dreams are going to get smashed again as Dave Aranda cools his seat a little bit with a Baylor victory in Waco, Texas over BYU in a 31-28 victory.
So, Jackson, this game here, it kind of scares me because, like you said, BYU's coming off a major road win. I mean, a major home win, over Kansas State. Pardon me. And they did it in pretty dominant fashion over what many consider one of the better Big 12 teams in K-State. But, like you said, Jackson, Dave Aranda, he's coaching for his job basically the rest of the way now. All because he couldn't stop the Colorado Hail Mary. Jackson, I get it. It's almost like this is Alabama-Auburn from 2023 all over again with that game. Like, there wasn't much else that defense could have done. Like, they did everything right. Someone just happened to break open at the last second. And it's just like, now Dave Aranda's really under fire. And if he doesn't win, it's going to get ugly and quick. Like, it's already ugly in Beartown. Is it going to get even more ugly? It very well could. You know what, Jackson? I'm going to say BYU. I think they're legit. I think they're playing really good football. I'm going to take BYU on the road. I'm going to go 31 to 23. I think BYU is legit.
I hope you're right.
Syracuse should get the job done.
Yeah.
Will they cover, though?
We're not going to worry about Syracuse Holy Cross, but our friend Jeffrey at Only Talk Sports dedicated his first episode of Hoosiers Live at the Voice of College Football to Maryland, Indiana. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's a great watch. I recommend it.
Jackson, there's a lot of hype about this Hoosiers team. A lot of people are starting to take them seriously.
Well, yeah, they're 11th in the nation in points per game. So, I mean, they've earned that right to be hyped.
This is true, Jackson. And the thing about it is, too, Indiana, they used to be the laughing stock of the Big Ten. But Curt Cignetti, in such a short time has kind of made Indiana kind of like maybe like took them from a laughing stock to all of a sudden, oh shoot, we don't want to play them in Bloomington. Because it used to be you looked at your schedule and saw Indiana and you automatically marked that as a win. Now Indiana's no longer a guaranteed win. And I'm happy for all the Indiana fans. They deserve this. Because to be honest with you, Jackson, it's one of the things where they were known as a basketball state. And I'm kind of glad that football is becoming relevant for them. But I will say on the other side of the spectrum, Maryland, what is up with them? Normally they start out hot and then finish cold. They're kind of playing up and down this year. Like, what's up with that? Like, is Billy Edwards not the answer? Or what's the issue here, Jackson?
I don't know, but they better figure it out soon. I mean, you can't be hoping that everybody cuts you slack if you have a bad year at Maryland. You can't do that.
I mean, it is Maryland. I mean, like as long as they make a bowl, I don't think anybody would complain too much, do you?
Well, they're going to get tired of that eventually. They're going to want something more.
That is true.
It may not be today or tomorrow, but it happens to us all.
Yes. And the next game we're going to get to, which we all know that coach, and we have a certain fan in here.
In a bit, but, you know, I think it's going to be Indiana winning 38-14 against Maryland.
You know what, Jackson? You know, I don't like doing this, but I just feel like Indiana's had too much go right for them, too much good for them. And I feel like the football gods are like, tisk, 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 Indiana. You got to learn how to lose too now. I'm going to go Maryland on the road. I think they're going to go to Bloomington. And I'm going to pick Maryland to win 21-17. I'm going with an upset.
Hope you're wrong on it, but I don't think that's going to happen. But we got that Lil Brown Judd, the 2024 edition on the network that brings you Family Guy and The Simpsons on mid-noon kickoff. As we got the Michigan Wolverines coming off a nice rebound against the USC Trojans, going up against the Minnesota Golden Gophers. And you said yourself, you know, there's some questions about PJ Fleck. I'm honestly wondering what's happening to him right now. Like, Dave, what do you think?
Here's my thing, Jackson. Who made these schedules? Jackson. When is Michigan going to go play a game on the road? Good grief.
Oh, they
like
will.
3 straight. They've had, 4 straight at home? let's see, they play Texas at home, Arkansas State, SC. Yeah, this will be their 4th consecutive game at home,
And they play
Jackson.
Fresno at home.
So 5 out of their first 6
Mhm.
games. Oh, they played all their games at home, haven't they?
Mhm. Oh, yeah, they
Who,
have.
man? Jackson, how is this? Like, I don't mean to sound. How is this even fair? Like, who makes
Well,
these schedules?
that's part of life. Life isn't fair to a lot of us, but, I think they probably, played a little kiss butt with the schedule makers in the Big Ten, be like, "Hey, we've been good, here you go. Here's some pecans. Here's, I made you casserole."
Because it's like,
No, wait,
Jackson,
no,
like,
that's how we handle it down south. We're just like, "I made you a casserole."
we made you a casserole. It's got chicken in it and some peas and some corn. But in all seriousness, though, whoever made this schedule, I want to meet them in person and ask why they gave Michigan 6 in a row at home. Good grief, Amadi.
Yeah.
No wonder why. No wonder why. Yeah. Anyway, but Minnesota, Jackson, this is one of them that, like you said, PJ Fleck, his butt's on fire. He didn't win the Iowa game. He lost the game he should have won against North Carolina. I'm not going to say that if he loses this game, they're going to fire him. Not by any stretch. But he definitely needs to show that that they need to be competitive in this game. And I think even Dave in the chat would agree that they need to be competitive. Show that PJ is still taking them in the right direction. Because if they get blown out, oh boy, heads are going to roll Monday morning.
I think Vegas was thinking more about Tennessee, Oklahoma, or they were thinking more about Alabama, Georgia, something like that. They probably don't like having to waste time with Peacock, I'm sure, or that's how they think of it. Me personally, I don't care what app it is. You just tell me what it is, and I'll find the game.
And Dave says, if you want to pay for this $25 million buyout, go right ahead.
Nope. We don't have that kind of money.
Nope. But Jackson, there is also a factor you brought up. Michigan is coming off a big time win over USC. When the whole world kind of doubted them, like said, okay, Michigan, you're poop. You're
Your horse
a complete downgrade. Yeah, you're horse stone. And then they shut everyone up, including us here.
Mm,
But I will say, Jackson, could there be a letdown?
no.
I think Sharon I think we'll have him ready to play. I don't expect. Do you think Michigan's run game is going to be as effective as it was against USC, or do you think Minnesota's going to be more effective in stopping that?
Minnesota, I just don't see this team beating a ranked team. That's just not gonna happen. I feel like the juice for right now has been squeezed out of the Golden Gophers. I mean, we're gonna be seeing.
Go ahead, Jackson.
I think the juice has been squeezed out of Minnesota for the time being. Question is, will they be able to pull off an upset at home? That'll be the question there. Like, will they win that one game they shouldn't? I don't think it's going to be against Michigan, but we'll see if it's against a future opponent during the season.
And Dave said that's, as he mentions, that's the problem. And he said it's the reason why I'm going to Mount Pleasant to watch my dad's alma mater, Central Michigan, play instead of staying in Ann Arbor and going to the Gopher game. I don't blame you, Dave. Like at some point, you just got to be like, you know what? We just have no chance.
Yeah.
I'll let you pick first, Jackson.
It's going to be a Michigan 31-13 victory over Minnesota. I mean, Khalil Mullins and Donovan Edwards, they're going to be stomping a mud hole in that Minnesota defense.
You know what, Jackson? Excuse me. I'm going to pick Michigan too. I'm going to pick Michigan 20-10. I think it'll be more of a slugfest. I think Minnesota's watched tape of that USC game and said, you know what? Let's make Orji throw that ball. And if he beats us, then oh well. You're just not going to run it all over the yard on us.
Well, maybe Gus Johnson will get excited about this game, like for sure. Like because I mean, if he can get excited about Ohio State Marshall, he can get excited about Minnesota Michigan. Because I mean, this is not the 2019 Minnesota. Obviously, I mean, all the juice has been squeezed out. It's gone. But I really want to see Minnesota do well, but I just don't think this year's going to be. That schedule, it's tough to find some wins here and there. Besides UCLA.
Yeah, Jackson, and he says, Dave Valinsky says, I hate to say it, I've seen this movie, Michigan 45-14. I'm a little more confident in your Gophers, Dave. I think they've been watching some film, and I think they might be able to slow the run game down just a hair. I give a little more confidence to your Gophers. I don't think they're going to win. Like I said, I got Michigan winning by 10. I still think Michigan's going to win.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh. Nebraska, Purdue, Jackson. Is Purdue going to spoil Nebraska's season?
This is not the Joe Tiller Purdue Boilermakers or the Jeff Brom Purdue Boilermakers. They are not that kind of Purdue team.
Jackson, I hear you're down on them, but Jackson, they didn't get the nickname Spoilermakers for nothing now, good buddy. You know, a lot of people are high on Nebraska, and they're coming in to Ross-Ade. I smell possibly trap game, little upset coming.
Well, what's your take on this game? Like, do you think we could? You can make the first pick on this one.
Like Jackson, like I see you smiling because you think, oh, he's actually gonna do it, isn't he? Jackson, I just get this bad feeling like people are thinking Nebraska's finally washed off that Scott Frost, right? The ghost is gone. Matt Rule's almost gotten rid of it. And I feel like Jackson, Purdue is going to somehow, some way make this a really, really entertaining game. Because we've seen Dylan Raiola he is human. We've seen it. He's not Patrick Mahomes 2.0. He is human. I just feel like, Jackson, if this was in Nebraska, I would be with you wholeheartedly, 100%. Like, Nebraska should win running away. But the fact that it's in Ross-Ade, I think they're going to be pumped up to play. Purdue is against Nebraska. I could see this game going in Purdue's favor and put Nebraska at 3-2.
I think Nebraska. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, though, Jackson, I'm going to pick Nebraska, but I'm going to be cautious. I'm going to go 34-28. Nebraska wins in a thrilling game.
I think it's going to be more like a Nebraska 24-10 victory over Purdue.
We'll see. If Purdue upsets them, good buddy, we come back Saturday night. I'm going to make sure we revisit this.
Oh, we will. We will. I don't hide. You know that.
But there are more interesting games, though, Jackson. So, Northern Illinois, NC State on the CW, Jackson. Does the curse get... Question is, Jackson, NC State's the favorite by 6.5. Are the Wolfpack going to fall like Notre Dame did?
I'm gonna pick North Carolina State to win this one in a.
They looked bad last week.
I'm gonna pick North Carolina. I'm gonna go North Carolina State 24-21.
Okay, so you have it close. Jackson, this is the CW. In Northern Illinois, we saw that they can pull off upsets when they want to. NC State, Jackson, they looked bad last week against Clemson. I know most teams probably will, but they also look bad against Tennessee. They look bad against Western Carolina on the opener. This NC State team, I'm going to pick them to win this game. They shouldn't fall trap to Northern Illinois like Notre Dame did, but I'm going to go 27-20. 27-20 Wolfpack. I think they cover.
There we go. But there's this huge game we got between Oklahoma State and Kansas State on ESPN. We're going to see whether who's more likely to be able to stay in Big 12 title contention in Manhattan, Kansas. Now, Oklahoma State's coming off that huge smackdown loss to Utah. I mean, I know the score wasn't a smackdown, but still the first half they were getting slaughtered. The second half they realized, okay, we're getting slaughtered. We better step this up, boys. But they were close, but no cigar. As for K-State, they got smacked big time, had their pants pulled down by BYU on Saturday night. Funny enough, it was while we were doing Final Whistle. Hint, hint.
Jackson, we called that upset too. Me and you both picked BYU because Kansas State has a tendency, Jackson, to lose a game that they shouldn't. And the thing about this game is, Jackson, this is a really, really intriguing game. I'm looking forward to this. I think, honestly, Jackson, this is going to be one of the better Big 12 games we're going to see all year because, Jackson, the importance just got even more important. Both teams are coming into this with a loss in conference play now. The winner of this game, Jackson, is going to set themselves up nice the rest of the year. The loser, I'm not going to say it eliminates them from the title contention, but it's really going to hurt their chances. Both these teams need this win bad.
Okay.
And it's in Manhattan, too. Manhattan is a tough place to play. Jackson, they both need it, but I don't know who needs it more because both came off bad losses, like you said.
I would
BYU kind of.
I would say Oklahoma State needs it more, honestly.
I mean, Oklahoma State and BYU, Kansas State, if I could speak at the moment, they both look bad. Would you agree, Jackson? Both of them look bad in their games.
Agreed.
Like, neither one came out of their games looking like, okay. Like, they lost, like, on a field goal. Both teams got handled pretty well. I know the final score will say 22-19 Utah over Oklahoma State. But if you watch that football game, that was not a 3-point victory. That was that Utah just basically was playing prevent defense and said, you can dink and dunk down the field if you want. Have at it. And it was kind of funny, Jackson. I don't know if you watched the post-game interview with Kyle Whittingham when he was asked about the end of the game situations, and he was like, I could have done without all them dramatics. I'm getting too old for this. And I thought that was this was funny.
And for those that watch Oklahoma State, Utah, about like how Mike Gundy benched Alan Bowman, but then when he saw the backup quarterback couldn't get it done, he was like, "Okay, Bowman, you're back in." I wonder what's going to happen with all that for the Cowboys. And I noticed that Oklahoma State's defense is 92nd in rushing yards allowed per game, and the pass defense is in the top 115. That's bad.
Yeah. And the thing, too, is, Jackson, where is Ollie Gordon? Jackson, I've been putting out flyers everywhere. No one can seem to tell me where he's at. Like, seriously, Jackson, where's Ollie Gordon? Why aren't they using him better?
I don't know. But I'm going with Kansas State in this victory, and it's going to be Kansas State.
Hold on, good buddy. Hold on. Calm down. I got a counterpoint. Goodness, Jackson. I get it, you're in a hurry, but goodness. See, Jackson's like the road runner. But I will say, Jackson, if you find Ollie Gordon, you let me know, because he needs to show up. He needs to have a monster day if they want any chance to go on the road in Manhattan. And the key to victory for Oklahoma State is run Ollie Gordon, and Alan Bowman, just don't turn the football over. Kansas State, just act like you want to be there. But go ahead, Jackson. Go ahead. Now you can pick.
Okay.
Roadrunner.
Meet. Oh, man. I'm going to go with Kansas State in a 28-21 victory over Oklahoma State.
Both of them look bad, but I don't trust. If Ollie Gordon has a monster day, Oklahoma State, I think, will win. But Alan Bowman has been turning the ball over too much, been throwing too many picks. I'm with you, Jackson. I'm going to go Kansas State at home. I think they'll win. I think they'll win a shootout. I'll go 38-31 Kansas State.
I agree with you, Rough Rider. It's going too fast. The season's going too fast, my friend.
South Florida, Tulane, Jackson. That's kind of an underrated, under the radar game. Who do you think will get a W in that game?
It's going to be a battle to see who can win the AAC between those two, for sure.
Are you going with your boys at Tulane?
I don't know, man. I have no clue what I'm going to go with. But I know they're reaffirming their commitment to the AAC, which, I mean, I don't think we'll have to get into that. Like, oh my God, the conference realignment. It's like, again.
Oh, headache, Jackson. Jackson, if we start talking about that, we'll be here till 5 a.m. Good grief.
It's like, no, I am not staying up. I am not doing that.
Like, don't get me wrong, Jackson. I love you to death, but I don't love you that much to stay up till 5 a.m. talking about. And Dave Lindsay says, hey, don't count up the academics. I wouldn't be surprised if Army or Navy wins. You know what, Jackson? I'll go Tulane at home. I'll go Tulane 30, South Florida 28. What about you?
I'm going to go South Florida 28-24 over Tulane.
And I guess an interesting SEC game, Jackson. Kentucky at Ole Miss. Does Mark Stoops have any magic left? Do you see an upset possible in Oxford? Or do you think he put it all into Georgia?
That's not going to happen.
So Jackson, you think he put it all into Georgia?
Oh yeah, Ole Miss is going to beat Kentucky in a 45-21 victory.
You know what, Jackson? Just because Mark Stoops likes to play these games close, I'll go Ole Miss 34, Kentucky 31 in a shootout. Ooh. James Madison and Ball State, Jackson. Does James Madison have a hangover against Ball State, or should they
No.
win comfortable again?
Don't jinx them, man. Don't do that to them.
Hey, I'm just saying, Jackson, they're coming off a pretty big win. They put 70 up on Carolina, so I'm just saying.
You think Ball State will be scoring 50 points on James Madison? No way. They're not going to do that.
How about this game, Jackson? Western Kentucky, Boston College.
That's more
the
like
Hilltoppers coming. For Lino, I know they didn't look good against your Crimson Tide, Jackson, but let's be honest, not many people look good against Alabama anyway. So
True.
should BC take care of business at home, Jackson, or do you think WKU can spoil this season?
I'm going to go Boston College 31-20 against Western Kentucky.
I'll go BC 27-13.
Okay. Well, we got the Arkansas
I think
Texas
Thomas
A&M.
Castellano should be enough.
Oh yeah, Thomas Castellano should whoop that butt in the fourth quarter. But then we got Texas A&M Arkansas on ESPN, and that's going to be a good one. Or will Arkansas blow it again? Probably more than likely, but what do you think?
So, you know, Jackson, this has always been one of them games that – is this game played in AT&T Stadium?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, I remember it used to be played in AT&T Stadium, the Jerry Dome, as people like to call it. Jackson, this game is always intriguing because normally the winner of this game normally comes out the other side of SEC play with a winning record, because this normally sets you up. If A&M wins, A&M's probably going 8-4, sometimes 9-3. Arkansas wins, it's propelled them into good years. This is kind of an important rivalry game.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe, Jackson, this is one that is a protected game within the SEC. So this one won't be going away for a while.
Good. It should stay.
I believe it's a protected game. Correct me if I'm wrong, but okay, good. So this will be here for a while, man. Here's my thing, Jackson. Sam Pittman is another coach who really needs to win this game, if we're being completely honest. Because as we know, Jackson, it's the fans in Fayetteville are starting to get a little restless with him because he's not winning enough of the big games.
They should.
But and it's just like I don't think Arkansas fans are being too hasty by saying, can you at least beat Texas A&M consistently and beat these other SEC teams and beat Missouri? They're not telling Sam Pittman, you got to go beat Georgia, you got to go beat Alabama. I don't think they're expecting that. No. But Jackson, I feel like they're like, just go 8-4 consistently, 9-3, and we'll be happy with you. That's all we want. And just win your rivalry games.
Yep.
But you look on the other side of the spectrum, Jackson, you know, we talk about the ghost of Scott Frost. Do you think the ghost of Jimbo Fisher will show back up on Saturday in this game?
Oh, man, what'd you say?
I said, will the ghost of Jimbo Fisher show back up in this game? You know how Scott Frost's ghost is still in Nebraska. Will the Jimbo Fisher ghost show up in A&M?
Because Texas A&M always beat Arkansas even with Jimbo Fisher and Kevin Sumlin. And this has been since they joined the SEC in 2012. And the only time they've lost since they joined the SEC was in 2021. That's
So
been it.
this game is Jackson, and I know Connor Wegman. I believe he's healthy and is going to play. I believe. Jackson, I'm almost tempted to pick Arkansas because they do need this game bad, especially if Sam Pittman wants to save his seat. But A&M also is playing really good too under Mike Elko. They seem like they're playing with a new confidence, playing together. You know what, Jackson? I've talked myself into it. I'm going to go Texas A&M 30, Arkansas 20. I got the Aggies winning.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Texas A&M in a 31-24 victory over Arkansas. I don't know why, but I feel like Arkansas is gonna blow it again, and they're really gonna be mad at Sam Pittman. It's not an Auburn team with a quarterback issue.
Nope. And Rough Rider Return says A&M doesn't seem to get as much out of their huge NIL money as they should. Exactly. This is what Jackson's been preaching for the last 3 or 4 years. Haven't you, good buddy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you're always on their case about this.
So everybody should be.
Because I mean, you're right, Jackson. As much 5-star talent as they bring in, they should have won the SEC at least once. I agree, but they didn't. So,
for sure, But this Colorado Central Florida game, mid-noon kickoffs there. Well, like the show is there in Orlando, but here's the thing: Central Florida is the 15-point favorite. What does that mean?
That's the thing, Jackson. That tells me that they're thinking Colorado's going to have a big letdown. Like Vegas is trying to tell us, hey, Colorado kind of got lucky and escaped Baylor last weekend. And Jackson, and I'll let you speak more on this, but what do you always tell me, Jackson, about Gus Malzahn and his teams?
They fall apart as huge favorites, but they thrive as huge underdogs. They thrive when no one's watching or caring about them.
Case in point, Jackson, last year after Oklahoma State won the Bedlam, everyone started hyping them up, thinking, oh, if they run the table somehow, win the Big 12 and put it together a resume, they might be able to sneak into the top 6 and get a New Year's 6 bid. And then they play UCF in the bounce house. And what happened? Gus Malzahn and company smack them around like a kid that stole candy from a store.
Oh, yeah.
So, Jackson, I wonder if Colorado is coming in hyped up, thinking, oh, yeah, we're 4-1. We're looking good. We're playing great football. Or, excuse me, 3-1. 3-1 or 4-1, Jackson? I'm getting my weeks mixed up.
Yeah, we're in the 5th week of college football. So
they're 4-1, okay. But yeah.
Well, yeah, I believe 3-1 Colorado. Yeah.
Okay, 3-1. My apologies.
Central Florida's had their bye week, I believe.
My apologies. These weeks are running together on me. I apologize, but Jackson, why do I get a feeling that this is going to be a Colorado letdown game? That now that the whole world's starting to talk about him again, this is where Gus Malzahn and company is going to thrive. and it's at the bounce house. KJ Jefferson. And Jackson, we have a comment here from 1-2 saying, why is UCF unranked? Well, Jackson, you seem to support.
What's impressive about beating New Hampshire and Sam Houston State? I mean, TCU's nowhere near where they were in 2022. I mean,
that is a good point, Jackson. That's a very solid point. I don't disagree. I think Jackson, maybe he's looking at it from the point that the way they've won those games, maybe the committee should take better notice of them. I mean, Jackson, honestly, let me ask you. Okay, he explains why. He said 15-point favorites, unranked win. And see, I understand where he's coming from, right? If you're a huge favorite, you would think like they should be ranked. I understand that. And Jackson, I know we could get in the weeds about if you're a double-digit favorite, you should be ranked or not ranked. But it's one of those things. Sometimes, if you're unranked and you're a double-digit favorite, the way the committee, maybe they just haven't seen it yet. That maybe you have, or maybe they don't think UCF qualifies. Like of who's ahead of them. It's all about who you beaten and who's on your schedule. UCF's got plenty of chances in the Big 12, Jackson, because I believe they've got a couple ranked opponents coming up, don't they? UCF.
Yeah, they've got some pretty interesting opponents like Utah on Black Friday. They've got Florida in week 6. Next week, they've got to go to Iowa State on October 19th. They got BYU coming to their backyard on the 26th. And they got Arizona on November 2nd at home. And they got to go on the road to Arizona State, West Virginia for November.
So, 1-2, UCF's going to get a chance to prove themselves. Not to worry. As long as they don't blow it here, they're going to get a chance to prove themselves multiple times this year, and whether or not that they deserve to be ranked. I get being a double-digit favorite; it's very wonky. But Jackson, I'm going to let you pick first. I picked first on the last couple. I'm going to put you on the hot seat first.
Well, I'll be honest with you, and Colorado, they've been tremendous against Baylor, which, although they had a tremendous ending, although they shouldn't have been storming the field over beating Baylor. It's like, come on, man. Especially during the review. Like, come on, good buddies. Y'all can't be doing that. But
yeah, that was kind of low class. I get it. You're starving for a big win like that, if you consider Baylor a big win, which I guess they did. But you got to have a little more respect. Like you said, Jackson.
Oh, yeah. But I think, honestly, Colorado pulls off the upset. And, we'll see if there's some Colorado fans storming the bounce house for sure. In a stunning 31-28 victory by the Buffaloes.
You know what, Jackson? I'm going to go UCF. I'm going to go with the bounce house to prevail. I think Colorado's got a lot of hype behind them. I think and Gus Malzahn thrives off that, like you said. I think they get it done in a 45-28 victory over the Buffaloes.
Oh, there we go. There we go. So I have some developing news involving UNLV's quarterback. This was just broken to me. And this is from Brett McMurphy's account. And it's from 21 minutes ago, and it says that the starting quarterback for UNLV, Matt Sluka, announces he will redshirt and he's not going to play the rest of the season. Quote, I committed to UNLV based on certain representatives that were made to me, which were not upheld after I enrolled. Despite discussions, it became clear these commitments would not be fulfilled in the future. I wish my teammates the best of luck this season and hope for the continued success of the program. So, with this developing news that we just got, I was thinking UNLV would be that group of 5 team that gets in the playoffs, but with this developing news, your starting quarterback opting out the rest of the season, the red shirt, I'm not liking their chances. But maybe Barry Odom's got another magic trick up his sleeve. What do you think, Austin?
Well, and 1-2 makes a comment, says, is UNLV for real? Before I heard that news, Jackson, I would have said they pulled off some major wins. They beat Kansas, and they dominated Houston, and they've looked really, really good. And like you said, now that their quarterback is basically saying, I don't want to play anymore because you didn't fulfill my promises.
I mean, promises are promises. I mean, that's just how it works. You make a promise to somebody, you're kind of morally obligated to fulfill it, even if you don't like it. Unless something really bad comes up. But
and Jackson, they're playing a really good opponent this week in Fresno State. Mikey King can sling that thing. Fresno State's not a challenge to be taken lightly. We saw what they did against Michigan, Jackson. I know the final score is 30-10, but I watched almost all that football game, and that was a competitive game down to the end until the Michigan front 7 got home and forced him into a couple bad turnovers. But like you said, Jackson, can Barry Odom rally the troops on after learning this news? I think he can. I believe they believe in this team. It's going to be short timing, though, because they're going to only have 3 days to prepare now to get him enveloped in the system. This is a big game. It's in Allegiant Stadium. What do you think, Jackson? Who were you originally going to pick before you heard that news?
I was going to go UNLV, but now I'm going Fresno State in a tenacious 28-24 victory.
You know what, Jackson? I think this team is going to fight. I think both these teams could be the group of 5 representative, but I think UNLV, I think Barry Odom is going to be tenacious. He's going to have this team ready. I'm going to go Jackson in a ugly, ugly win. I'm going to go 17-10. I'm going to go 17-10. The Rebels win in a slugfest of a game.
Oh, yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens because this is going to be a developing game for the group of 5. But we got ourselves Liberty App State. Now, App State's down and out. They're not doing so hot, it seems. And, they got smacked so far by Clemson, of course. And they got smacked by another opponent, which was South Alabama on Thursday night. But they usually thrive as the dog.
And this is in Boone, too. This is in Boone. This is going to be a home environment. Jackson Liberty was the team, the group of 5 representative that played Oregon last year. We're talking UNLV, Fresno, maybe Memphis. They hadn't had that bad loss to Navy. They could have been in. Is everyone forgetting Liberty's still here? Like, Liberty's looking like, did y'all forget about us? We were the one who represented y'all last year. And Jackson,
yeah.
they're undefeated so far, even after everything they did lose. But like you said, App State has looked kind of bad. They look like this is gonna be a huge game because if App State doesn't win this, Jackson, they could be in for a rough year in the Sun Belt.
Oh yeah.
But Liberty is looking. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, because I know our friends, Jeffrey and Only Talk Sports, and Will and D, they're like Appalachian State's in for a rough year, which I can totally see that, but I'm just kind of like, if they lose to Liberty, then it's official.
But what are you thinking, Jackson? Does App State at home at Boone, home environment?
Well, if they can't get it
Dude.
done at home this year against Liberty, then they're not getting it done at all. It's just not happening. So I'm going to say, you know what? I'll take my chances with App State.
And 1-2 makes a comment, Jackson. He says, Liberty doing well makes Hugh Freeze and Auburn look even worse. What do you think about that, Jackson? Yeah, what do you think about that comment?
Let's give it another couple years on Hugh Freeze. I mean, I really don't think firing somebody's the best idea because, I mean, if you watch College Game Day from last week, Coach Saban talked about, teams firing their coaches right away because things aren't going well enough right away, where he said that presents a bad culture, as he hinted to Florida, because that's what they're doing wrong.
Yep. And Coach Saban's right, Jackson. If I'm every university, I'm listening to him. Whatever he's got to say, I'm listening to him. Because Coach Saban knows what he's talking about. But as for this game, Jackson, you know what? Just to save face, I'll go Liberty. They've been rolling, looking good. I'll go Liberty 34. No, I'll go Liberty 31-24. I think they'll win by a touchdown.
Oh. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what goes on. Oh, there's your boys at Louisville. They got so disrespected with only being on Peacock. Man, that's just wrong. Take one.
And Jackson, I'll let you start on this game. I'm gonna say my thoughts after you get done. What do you think of this game?
Well, Notre Dame. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Like, will they win another big game, or are they just gonna treat because I mean they're gonna be thinking about revenge on Louisville from last year.
They are, Jackson. I fully intend for them to play their best game yet this weekend because I feel like Jackson. And I don't know if many people knew this, but this was announced like in late July, early August, excuse me, that this was going to be the green out game. Notre Dame's going to be in green for this game. And the thing about that, Jackson, is what do you always tell me when Notre Dame wears green?
It's going to get ugly. Oh, wow. Notre Dame is wearing green. Yeah, that's not good.
You didn't know that, Jackson? They announced that like back in.
Man.
I sent everyone the video and stuff, but yeah, this is going to be a green out game. They're even going to have a special guest there. WWE wrestler Sheamus is going to be there. He was a part of College Game Day in week 0 when they were in Dublin. He's going to be there Saturday. Like Notre Dame's building this up.
Oh yeah.
So, like Jackson, like Notre Dame, and I know some Notre Dames are saying this game isn't important to us. This doesn't mean anything to us. Oh, really? You're having a green out. You're inviting a big time celebrity there. and you put it on Peacock only. Which, Jackson, that alone can get me. It's like, Jackson, that alone is getting me mad. Like, how
Yeah.
dare you put us on the Peacock? Why, NBC? Why? What have we done to you? Like, seriously? You all would rather watch Notre Dame, Virginia? Like, come on, get real. I'm so sorry, Jackson, but this makes me angry.
Yep. Well, they do it to you, man.
Rough Raider Return says all games mean something in this era. Agreed. But some people, Rough Raider, always say, oh, this game don't mean nothing to us. And then when they lose it, they're like, this game meant something. Which we'll get to a game that some fans, but Jackson, I'm just upset they put this on Peacock exclusive. And I get, Jackson, they're trying to get you to buy the Peacock app. I'm sure, I know I'm up here fussing about just one game. I'm sure, the Big Ten fans, like Rough Rider Returns and Dave, they have to deal with this yearly. So maybe I should stop fussing. But because they got to deal with the Peacock exclusive at least once a year, maybe twice. Especially if you're Minnesota and Peacock's like, we don't want to put you on NBC here. But anywho, back off my rant. As far as this game goes, Jackson, it's gonna be intriguing. It's in South Bend. It's gonna be green out. Crowd, I think, is gonna be pumping. It's gonna be rocking. We had Jackson. We looked okay against Georgia Tech. We had moments. The defense and special teams played really. And Dave Walensky, thank you. It's a joke that it's on Peacock and an absolute joke. Agreed. That'd be like putting Iowa, Minnesota on the Peacock. Like, come on now. Have some more respect. I don't know how we got on the Peacock rant, Jackson. I'm so sorry. But this network's getting me angry.
Oh, yeah.
And Dave said, ouch, that hurt. I wasn't meaning it to hurt, but if they put Iowa, Minnesota on there, Dave, you would be outraged. Like, put one of your more important games on a network. Well, not even a network. On you have to watch it through your dang phone instead of on a television. But I digress. Anywho, I done lost my train of thought, Jackson. You got anything to add on this, Jackson?
Oh, I think, you know what?
No, besides picking the winner, Jackson, hold on. Do you have any analysis for me? Make me feel better.
Oh yeah, I think it can happen. I think we can see an upset magically happen again.
I hope so, but I don't think it's going to, Jackson. I think last year the stars aligned. I think Notre Dame has learned their lesson. I think they're done messing around. I think their running game. I think Riley Leonard and the running game will just ground and pound until eventually we start loading the box, and then they'll be able to throw the ball on us. But I'll let you pick first, Jackson. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm going to go Louisville for the upset.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
Oh, boy.
Oh,
no.
Don't be so superstitious, man. It doesn't. That's not real.
Oh, boy.
There's no curse. There is no curse. I'm telling you. Louisville. I mean, the green jersey's a curse. Picking the same team at the same time is not a curse. I'm telling you. It's going to be Louisville winning 28. No. 27-21.
So, Jackson, I'm not trying to be superstitious, but I truly feel in my heart of hearts that last year was magical and we caught them at the right time. I don't think lightning strikes twice again. I think we go into South Bend and we get. I'm going to go Notre Dame 31-21. I'm going to go Irish 31-21 in South Bend. Oh gosh, Oklahoma at Auburn.
Oh, that's awful.
Like what? Oh Lord, Jackson, which Auburn's going to show up? Let's answer that first. Do you think they're going to care about this game?
Oh yeah, Auburn's going to. It's at home.
So you think they'll care enough about their opponent this week? Okay. Jackson, what do you think about the breaking news that we saw Michael Hawkins Jr. will be the starter for this game? Do you think it'll inject some new life into the Sooners offense, or do you think it doesn't really matter who they put in at quarterback?
No, it doesn't matter really. I mean, I think Oklahoma's new QB is a little better, but we'll wait and see.
This isn't Jordan Hare. Auburn is a tough team at home. But Oklahoma's defense, they can keep them in the ball game. Who's the favorite, Jackson?
Oklahoma.
Auburn's favored by Oklahoma's favored by how many?
2.
2? Okay. Okay, so even Vegas is telling us. I'll let you go first, good buddy. Who you picking?
You know what? I'll take a chance on Oklahoma. I think it's going to be 24-21.
And 1-2 says Auburn is unfortunately very weak, bad coaching, some say. I mean, Jackson, you've brought this up, but watch magically, Jackson. And 1-2, Jackson can even attest to this. Jackson, what did you tell the world last year? And everyone laughed at you.
Oh,
I'll let you tell the rest.
Well, it
What
was
did
on
you
After
tell?
Dark last year where some of the chat was like, yeah, Auburn lost to New Mexico State, but they're staying though. They play their best against ranked teams at Jordan Hare.
And Jackson, when you told them that Alabama was going to be in for a rough game, and people laughed at you and said, "That's nice, Jackson. I'm glad you're trying to keep it interesting, but we all know Auburn's going to get beat." And then what happens? It took a freaking miracle in the back of the end zone for y'all to win. And then people were like, "Where was this at, Auburn?" Like we try to tell you, like Auburn just seems to play better when they play the better opponents. So you know what, Jackson? I think Auburn's going to win this game. I've talked myself into it. I'm going to pick an Auburn upset in Jordan Hare. I think they're going to play Oklahoma tough because they're ranked. New quarterback. I think they're going to have their game face on, ready to play. I'm going to go 23-20 Auburn at Jordan Hare. Don't let me down, Auburn.
There we go. Oh, there's the ESPN Plus game. Let's go, Kansas. Show those horn frauds thing or two. Rip those horns out.
Kansas TCU. Jackson, I can't trust either one at the moment, to be honest with you. Be quite frank with you, I can't trust either one. They're both playing pretty bad football. Where's this game at, Jackson?
It's at Chiefs Stadium because Kansas Stadium's being renovated this year.
And Rough Rider Returns says, "Please let Austin down, Auburn." What the heck? What did I listen here? What did I do to deserve this, guys? Like, come on. I'm a good guy. I got the chat turned against me, Jackson.
Oh man. I just having fun with you.
Like, what the heck? Like, come on now. Just for that Rod returns, I hope Iowa lets you down. How about that?
Ah, I was having a bye week, man. So
Oh,
they're not
crap.
going.
That's right.
Yep.
They can't lose the bye week. And Dave Walensky says the best that the SEC has to offer. That's funny. You Jackson, Oklahoma Auburn's the best they have to offer. Oh man. Jackson, how would you like to have Oklahoma Auburn be yearly?
Oklahoma Auburn. Meh.
Yeah. Have it yearly because Dave said that's the best of the SEC has to offer. It is Auburn, Oklahoma.
Mhm.
And 1-2 says, I hope you're right. Auburn in a must-win situation. Agreed. Things could get dicey if they don't find a way to pull off this upset. But in all seriousness, though, I hope Iowa does do good. But as for the ESPN Plus game, I didn't got off track. As for this, will Sonny Dykes be in this game, Jackson? Did he get suspended? Has word come down about him being suspended? Or is he just ejected for the one game?
He's ejected for the one game.
So he will be on the sideline Saturday.
Mhm.
No
So
suspension?
far, no suspension.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if
Yeah.
they would take any further action. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But like Kansas, everybody's down on them. Like I know they're 1-3, but guess what? They lost against 3 really good teams. Illinois, UNLV, and West Virginia. And I get it, that defense. I don't know what happened with Kansas defense, but maybe they're kind of feeling like 2021 Iowa State, but we'll wait and see what happens.
Jackson, I know it hurts you because you're a big Kansas backer.
Yep.
Jalen Daniels, I don't think he's healthy. I keep sounding like a dead record here or a broken record, but he just doesn't look healthy.
No.
And with that alone, Jackson took. And he says, every time you guys talk about the SEC, I think the loudmouth Gerald Markey Mark.
Oh man, Gerald, like, oh man.
I don't know if that's supposed to be an insult towards us or a compliment.
I'm thinking it's somebody that's called in on The Voice of College Football.
Oh, okay. I got you. Okay. But anywho,
Darrell. Oh, I think he's talking about Darrell. I think he meant Darrell.
oh, I got you. Okay. I got you. Okay.
I always get a big laugh out of him. Like he's like, oh man. Hey, who knows? Maybe we can see. Maybe he can call in on one of the episodes. Who knows? Like, we'll be happy to host one of these little things for a final whistle, like we did a few weeks ago. Who knows?
Darrell's hilarious, but back to Big 12 action, Jackson. Oh, that rhymed. But TCU Jackson gave us 66 last week. Both these teams, Jackson, both these teams are kind of trending down. Both of them need this win. It's in Chiefs Stadium. Arrowhead gets pretty loud, Jackson, but I don't know how many Kansas fans are going to show up. Obviously, I don't think they're going to fill Arrowhead Stadium. I don't think they're going to fill it. But there might be some TCU fans there. But, Jackson, I can't trust Kansas right now, even though I believe TCU's look worse. Until Jayden Daniels shows some semblance of his former self and looks like he's healthy, I'm going with TCU on the road going into Arrowhead Stadium. I'm going to go TCU 42-39 in a shootout again. Hoovie and company get it done.
I think it's going to be Kansas in a 35-24 victory over TCU.
Okay, so we split. Oh, yes. The big one,
USC,
Jackson.
Wisconsin. Our
I know, Jackson,
buddy
you.
Tim and Matt Zemek and Mark Rogers did a show just now a few hours ago with Ryan Herrings from Locked On Badgers, all of our good friends. I can tell you right now, it was pretty fun watching a little bit of it. It was pretty fun. I'll have to go back and watch more of it.
So, Jackson, this is one of them games that we've had many phone conversations about. We've talked about it even live on air. You've been excited about this game.
Mm-hmm.
Tell the people why that is, Jackson. I'll let you have the floor.
Well,
I've been a
was
loudmouth enough
excited
tonight
about it, but not as much now as it was in the preseason. Because honestly, I really don't know what to make of the Wisconsin quarterback situation. I really hope it's all right. And I hope they're doing better than how they did against Alabama for their sake. But we'll wait and see what happens. As for USC, well, I mean, they lost a good game against Michigan, but they'll be fine. I think USC will rebound nicely.
I think, Jackson, this is one of them games. How many points? I'm assuming USC's favored, correct?
Yep. 16 points.
Okay, that's a big okay. So Vegas has got them favored heavily. Okay, that makes me a little cautious. I'm a little nervous now. I get it's in Southern California. I think Wisconsin fans will travel. But like you said, Jackson, that quarterback situation, yeah. And we saw how they did against Alabama. Your boys at Bama kind of got out the belt and spanked them and taught them a lesson.
Yeah.
About disrespecting people. But like you said, if Wisconsin's quarterback was healthy, I would think about picking an upset after what I saw from USC last week. Because Jackson, where's the USC run defense at? Where did it go? We were talking all nice about them, and then all of a sudden they show back up again, Jackson. Yep. And 1-2 says, see what I mean? 16-point favorites ranked 13th. Okay. I see your gripe. If you're a double-digit favorite, like Jackson, I think he's getting at the point, if you're a double-digit favorite, you should be ranked high. No, if you're not ranked, you shouldn't be double-digit favorites. I see what he's getting at now. I think I understand it. Dave Valinsky says this might be the only Wisconsin win in the Big Ten. Oh! Dave, are you thinking upset here? Are you going to pull the trigger on Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
boy.
think I'm gonna go USC 28-13.
And Rough Rider Return says, I wish USC was playing the Badgers and Wisconsin in the freezing weather. Yeah, I know a lot of people are waiting on USC to get one of them games, but I think, Jackson, do they play any of those games this year, later in the year where they go to the colder teams, or do they all come to California this year?
USC, I believe, well, of course they're at home against Notre Dame, no doubt about that. But they have to go to Maryland in October, Minnesota next week. I don't think they got to deal with the November cold. They may have to deal with the October cold against Maryland, but that's it.
So they kind of catch a break then. They don't have to play Wisconsin in the freezing weather. They don't have to deal with the Minnesota weather, the Iowa weather. Okay. So they avoid quite a few of that then. Okay. You know what, Jackson? I think Wisconsin's they're going to cover the spread. I think they'll be able to run the ball. maybe try to see if that USC defense, test them out a little bit, see if they've corrected what went wrong in the Michigan game. But I think USC will win. I'm going SC 26-19. I'm going to go USC 26-19. I think Wisconsin covers the spread.
There we go. Well, we got Duke, North Carolina. That's going to be a great basketball. Oh, right. This is football. That's right. And North Carolina's a disaster on defense. They're a disaster.
Jackson, I don't think North Carolina's going to give up 70 again, do you? You don't think we'll see that bad a performance ever again, do you?
No, I don't think so.
I got you. Okay, good. But Jackson, Duke has also been playing a lot of teams close as well. Northwestern, it took double overtime for them to survive. So, and like Jackson, and we've mentioned this on the final whistle, but Mike Brown said if this situation don't get fixed, he said he might call it quits and resign. What do you think about that for the future, Jackson?
I think he means it.
Like, do you think it's time? Even if they finish the season 8-4-9-3, do you think it's time for him just step down and let the next guy come in?
Yeah, I think so. I think they had a good run. It's been a hell of an era for the Matt Brown era, but it's over.
And we have a comment here from from Well32 to clear up the Vegas numbers for UCF KU. Florida is being hit by a hurricane Thursday, and it's supposed to have lingering effects. And the pouring rain tie game really benefits the rushing team. Okay. And if you live out in Florida, we pray for you. God bless you. Stay safe.
I keep thinking about The Longest Yard, the Adam Sandler remake, where like the guys were playing in like a muddy field, but then it was like the second quarter of the game they were playing. It's like, hey, let's do what we did in practice. They was like, what we did in practice? That was some backyard BS. Let's do some backyard BS. So I mean, maybe we could see Colorado and Central Florida pull out some backyard BS. That's the bright side of a rainy field.
But I will say this though, Jackson, like you said, what do you think of the job that Manny Diaz has been doing? We haven't really had a chance to talk about him much. Are you liking the job he's doing at Duke, or what's your thoughts on that, Jackson? We haven't had a chance to really talk about him much.
It's his first year, but I mean, I still kind of feel like he's the Will Muschamp of the ACC. I don't mean that as anything mean towards Manny Diaz. It's just that he just feels similar. Because like Will Muschamp coached at Florida, ups and downs, close but no cigar, got fired. Was a right-hand man for a year. Then he went to South Carolina and did not do what they hoped to accomplish. Same thing with Manny Diaz. Overhyped by Miami. And now I'm just kind of waiting and seeing what happens on how he does at Duke. He's not going to be getting them to where Wallace Wade had them. I don't think he's getting them to where David Cutcliffe and Mike Elko had them. But anything can happen. I really wish Manny Diaz nothing but awesomeness. I truly do. I want to see him do well.
I do too, Jackson. I feel like you said, I feel like for him, you said, I don't feel like that the expectations, they're not too high, Duke, as we all know.
Yep.
They're one of them things it's one of the things, Jackson, where it's like you win 8, 9 games every year, your job's pretty much safe. Nothing too bad's going to happen to you. But this is a rivalry game, Jackson, so this game does mean a lot to both teams. As we sit tonight, Jackson, North Carolina needs this game more than anything after their pitiful performance Saturday. But this would also be a big momentum builder for Duke. I'll let you pick first, good buddy.
This is a toss-up, and I really don't like where either schools are going right now. I mean, I like where Duke's going a little better as of now, but North Carolina, I'm a little scared for them. But at the same time, I think the Tar Heels get it done with a 28-24 victory. My God, I'm saying that a lot tonight. 28-24.
Mm-hmm. And Dave Walensky says rivalry games like this help recruiting in that area. Agreed. So this is also big for recruiting. And 1-2 says UNC by 10. This is interesting. Okay. He thinks they bounce back and win by 10. Jackson, I think this is going to be in Wallace Wade Stadium. It's not a very big stadium, as we see, but those fans do pack that building pretty good. I think the road environment, I'm going to go Duke. I think Duke is playing better right now. I think North Carolina's reeling, and this could be the end of the Mack Brown era as we know it in Chapel Hill. So I'm going to go Duke 24-13 at home.
Uh-huh. Oh, almost forgot. Quinn Ewers is coming back against Mississippi State, but the only question is, will Texas beat the spread?
How many points they favor by?
38.5. Here, I need to make it bigger.
Here we go. 38.5. I don't think Texas will cover, but they'll win. I'll go 45-10.
For me, that's going to be more like 45-6.
Okay, yeah, that covers. Okay. I got to do the math. I was thinking, does that cover? Yeah, 45-10 covers. Okay. But yeah.
Iowa State will cover against Houston in a 31-14 victory.
Yeah, I say 38-17. Iowa State. And Dave Walensky says the best that the SEC will give us. LOL. Oh boy, I see. This is going to be his slogan, Jackson. The best the SEC will give us.
Oh, well, we got it saved up. No worries. That would be awesome.
I was. Go for it, good buddy.
Stanford Clemson. That's going to be the ESPN game this week. Man,
oh boy,
they're wishing they had part of that Big Ten TV contract.
Yeah, they do. Clemson's 21.5 point favorite. This is in Death Valley at night too. The question is, Jackson, do you give Stanford any chance in this game? In all honesty,
no. It's gonna be a Clemson.
I don't either.
No. 45-20 victory by the Clemson Tigers.
I'll go. I think I'll go 35-17 Clemson.
That's fair. Man, we got ourselves a good one on NBC break.
On Big Ten Saturday night. Number 19 Illinois at number 9 Penn State in Happy Valley. Jackson, I'm so upset that they put this on Saturday night. Why? Why? You had to put it on Saturday night or schedule it the same week as Bama, Georgia. Why? I know why. Because they didn't think Illinois was going to be that good either. They're probably thinking, okay, Penn State here, we'll put Illinois there. There.
Yep.
Have fun. Like, Jackson, in all honesty, it's going to be sad, but I really think this game's going to get a lot of eyeballs because I really think people are starting to take Illinois serious again.
Oh, yeah.
And Penn State is 18-point favorite. That's a little too high. I get it's in Happy Valley, but I feel like Brent Bielema in Illinois, I feel like they could pull off a little upset here. Because, Jackson, we all remember that non-overtime game that they had a couple years ago. That classic they had.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna stop longer overtime games by moving to starting in 5 overtimes. We're making everybody go to 2-point conversions. Okay, that didn't work. Let's move it to 3 overtimes. This will make the game shorter. Everybody wants that, right? No. I'll be honest. I felt like a spoiled rich kid watching, like, going to the Iron Bowl in 2018 and being able to come back home for a little bit of the Texas A&M LSU game. Matter of fact, I was keeping an eye on the game while I was on the road with my uncle watching that game. Like we were listening to it. I was watching on my phone, keeping an eye on it. Like see how much time's left, stuff like that. It was pretty fun. Like there is no such thing as too long of a football game or too much. At least not with me.
Yeah, I remember that too, Jackson. And I remember when they changed the overtime rule, and people were like, and they do it, Jackson, for player and safety health. That was one of the things that was emphasized. They were like,
that they say that, but it's a load of horse dung. It's a load of horse dung.
Well, that's the thing too, Jackson, because I remember when they did that rule, they were like, we're doing this to ensure player and safety health, make sure everyone is healthy and can play football for as many years.
Well, true, but I mean, I just hope they genuinely mean that and they weren't just faking it till they were making it.
Yeah, I'm with you too, Jackson. But as for this game, like, Jackson, we really have. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, we love Illinois' quarterback too. He's a pretty cool dude. Dave Valensky thinks it's gonna be an upset. 1-2 thinks it's gonna be a butt whooping. Rough Rider Returns replies to Dave Valensky as how that game would make Red Grange smile. Red Grange, I'll tell you one thing, we're going to be celebrating the 100th year anniversary of the Illinois-Michigan matchup where Red Grange was having a huge game that day on October 18th, 1924, which we will do that 3 weeks from now, of course. Illinois, our friend Sonny Vermer at Locked On Illini cast in the Big Ten show talked about how some people forgot about how good this 2022 Illinois team was. Well, maybe they won't forget about this 2024 Illinois team. I mean, we know that they're not anything like that 2011 Illinois team where they started out 6-0 and then fell apart in the regular season by finishing at 0-6. They're not doing that under Brett Bielema. Not happening on their watch.
hmm And Jackson, this will be one of Penn State's bigger tests to start the year. And I know everyone says West Virginia, but Jackson, it just seemed like West Virginia was outclassed, out talented that day. And it just seemed like Penn State was rocking and rolling. And it seems like West Virginia, they're a solid team. They're not as good as everyone is saying they are. Like, we'll see more of West Virginia later on. But as for this though, Penn State, this is a game, normally that they win most of the time, right? Well, now the tables have kind of turned because Illinois is playing really good football, and they won in 2022. I really think, Jackson, this is a game that Illinois can win if they try. If they can run the ball, keep the ball out of Drew Allar's hands, and keep that Penn State crowd quiet, we could have an upset because they went into Nebraska Friday night and got an upset. But Penn State, I think, is the better team. I think they have the better players. The only thing that worries me is can their quarterback, Drew Aller just not throw this game away. Because I like their running back, Nick Singleton. He can run the football. I like their receiving core. Penn State's got a good offense. But this is going to be interesting.
Obviously, the odds makers did not watch Illinois, Nebraska because Illinois seems to do well as a dog. So, but I will pick Penn State to win this one in a 28-17 victory. I hope I'm wrong.
I want to go upset, Jackson. I really do. But you know what? But you know what, Jackson? I'm going to go with you. I'm going to rock
Penn State. Sonny. Do it for our good buddy, Sonny. Come on, man. Somebody has to.
You're going to make me. You're going to make me do it. Okay.
You're smiling. You're smiling. You know you want to.
I do. I do. I want to pick an upset so bad. But if I do, Jackson, Penn State's going to win. So I'm going to go Penn State.
It doesn't work like that, man. It doesn't work like that. We don't have like we're not the freaking Teen Titans or the Powerpuff Girls or the Avengers or the Justice League. We're not any of those. We don't have that kind of magic. At least I don't think we do. Do we?
Jackson, I'm going to save my hide. I'm going to say Penn State wins. I'm gonna save my hide. I'm gonna go Penn State 28. I'm gonna go. I'm sorry. I do. I want to pick I want to pick this upset so bad, but if I do, then it's gonna backfire big time. And then everyone's like, "You should have picked Penn State." So for the sake of saving the graphic, as they say, I'm gonna go Penn State 28-25.
There we go.
In a close victory and a game-winning field goal.
Oh, man. Well, before we get on this Nets game, hold on one sec. I'd like to mention that tune in every week, every Wednesday and every Saturday night for the magic that we're creating, on our channels. So tell all your friends, your family, and the cashiers at Publix and Whole Foods about what we're doing on the Pits and Analysis show and on the Final Whistle. Stay tuned.
Oh, yes. Exactly, Jackson. We're making magic here, and we have 20 people in the chat. We appreciate you all. We thank you for being here. We wouldn't have a show without you.
Agreed.
So thank you for being here.
Well, you expressed your dissatisfaction with Penn State, Illinois being on NBC. But you're going to be even more mad at this. Ohio State, Michigan State being on Peacock. I mean, why didn't they put it on either Fox Sports 1 or CBS? Oh, good God.
They probably don't believe it. They probably don't believe in Michigan State. They're like, okay, Ohio State, No, let's put it on the Peacock app so the kids can't watch.
They think it's gonna be that bad. Oh man, that's so disrespectful. I mean, like Purdue, Nebraska, I get being on Peacock or being on Paramount Plus after the latest SpongeBob rerun, but Ohio State, Michigan State. I mean, I know Michigan State's not the greatest, but give them some respect. I mean, like utilize your CBS network, like your TV deals. Don't make it like twice a year. Use it whenever you can. Like do like a little CBS double header. I mean, Fox is just going to be sitting there thinking about the MLB playoffs, in a week or so. So, Dave Valinsky says, sorry, I gotta agree with the networks. Michigan State's gonna get some things happen to them in the shower, I guess.
Oh boy. I mean,
Yeah.
even Vegas is trying to tell us, Jackson, even Vegas is saying 24 points is the spread. Even Vegas is saying shield your eyes. Now, I know Michigan State in years past have pulled off some upsets, but this is a rebuilding team. This is probably the most complete Ohio State team we've seen in quite a long time. Probably in a very, very long time, since they have Marvin Harrison and Jackson Smith and Jigba, Chris Olave, along with Stroud and that whole crew. I mean, Jackson, I would say Michigan State's improving, and it isn't Sparty land, but I still don't think even in Sparty land that's going to affect the Buckeyes. I think they're going to give them a butt whooping, like Dave said. I'm going to go 40. I'm going to go 49 to 13. I think they'll be nice to give them 13 points. The backups will be like, here.
Oh yeah, Buckeyes will win 42-14 against Michigan State. But this Nets game, I wonder where it is. Oh, there it is. The Alabama Crimson Tide going up against the Georgia Bulldogs on ABC Saturday night. And for the first time since November 3rd, 2007, the Alabama Crimson Tide are the home underdogs against Georgia. And we've heard it all, folks. I mean, we know that, it's going to be a fun one. And we know that we're even seeing, a certain someone attend this game, which, I mean, that's going to be no time for another day. We're going to be seeing plenty of people showing up, like everybody and their families are showing up to this one. And, Kirby, unfortunately, only has one win, but fortunately for him, it's the one win that counts. The national championship in the 2021 season on January 2022. And, Kalen DeBoer put it best. He said, there's got to be a belief and trust when it comes to close games. You can see finding a way to comes down to wanting it, preparing because you do want it, preparing in a special way. They've got great continuality, the physicality. You see the schemes, schematics, especially defense that goes way back. I mean, Coach Smart has implemented his system, has a lot of people now around him that have carried that over the years as well. Offensively, now you see some carryover over the last couple of years with some consistency there. So with that comes confidence. With that comes belief, and for us, that's what we're establishing too. That's what we're working on daily. It's just to be really efficient in putting that into our program, creating that. It happens because of the success our guys have had together.
Yeah, this is one of them games, Jackson. It's probably the most important game in the entire season as is. Jackson, you cannot state how much this game is going to mean to this year. Because, Jackson, not only does the SEC ride on this, the college football playoffs ride on this game. The Heisman rides on this. Everything's on the line in this game. This game is probably the biggest game we're going to have all year. I'm sorry to Texas fans who think Texas, Georgia. I'm sorry. This is it right here. This is the game, because the winner of this is bookmark it as we sit tonight. The winner of this game is going to be in Atlanta at the end of December. Mark my words on that. That's how important this game is going to be. Because the loser of this game it is going to have some catching up to do. But like you said, Jackson, Georgia, Alabama, that just sounds right. SEC, it's in Tuscaloosa. You don't play it very often. I'm getting goosebumps and chills talking about it. Like, I'm going to have my butt on the cushion Saturday night watching this. And like Jackson, like, I can't overstate how important of a game this is. Because Jackson, like you said, Georgia has, for whatever reason, cannot beat you all, no matter how hard they try. And then they beat you all in the national championship game, which you said that's one of the most important games ever. But it just seems like last year, Jackson, when everyone was picking Georgia, good old Nick Saban found a way to win this game again. But Jackson, like Dave Linsky said, I was not impressed with Kentucky almost losing to Georgia. And that's what's making people very cautious about picking this game.
Yeah,
because
but
Georgia
Kirby always has that one game a year. Georgia always has that one game a year where they just look sloppy and then they just move on.
Agreed. Like last year against Missouri, Jackson, that was kind of their one, like, okay, did you get it out of your system? And Jackson, both teams have had a bye week, so there is no excuses of, oh, we had to play last week. We're not 100%. There is no excuses. It's time to pull the big boy britches up now. We're getting into the real stuff. This is the man's game right here. So, with all that being said, Jackson, Saturday night, prime time, college game day is going to be there. The whole world's watching. Alabama's looked impressive. Jalen Milroe, Ryan Williams, they're hitting their stride. They're looking good. Ryan Williams, like you said, is not even 18 yet, and he's still got so much more to grow on. The defense is finally finding its he's finally finding its identity on defense. But Jackson, I hate to say it, I think Kirby Smart, he thrives on this type of situation where he's the underdog, where people doubt him. Jackson, do you want me to pick first, or do you want to pick first?
You can pick first.
Okay. So, Jackson, with everything I just said, it seems almost like it should be Alabama's to win. But you know something, Jackson? I think Kirby thrives on being the underdog. He thrives on people doubting him. And that's why, Jackson, unfortunately, I'm going with the Bulldogs on the road. I'm sorry. I'm going Georgia 31-26. I'm going 31-26 Georgia. I'm sorry, Jackson, but I think the dogs thrive being on the underdogs.
No, it's okay, man. Hey, this is business. You have to do what you have to do. You have to pick teams. You can't go by your heart. You have to go by your head. I mean, you're doing your job. You're doing your job. You're supposed to, as I am as well, because I believe the Alabama Crimson Tide can get the job done against the Georgia Bulldogs 28-24 in Tuscaloosa. But I'll tell you something, it'll be a wild ride in Tuscaloosa. And Rough Rider Returns says he's wishing me happiness after this game. I'm gonna be honest, I'll be happy either way, because I know that I'm gonna get to talk to all of you. Me, Austin, and I are gonna get to talk to all of you about this game, and and the rest of college football Saturday and next week. I mean, that's what gets me happy. Like, am I gonna be a little sad if my team loses? Yeah, a little bit, but and even if we win against Georgia, which I believe we will, I'm just kind of like, you can be upset for a day, move on. You can be happy for a day, move on. Move on next order business. That's how it goes.
But Jackson, I know this is the biggest game, but there are some night games that could get interesting too. Oh Lord, not Florida State again. Oh Lord.
Cincinnati, Texas Tech's better.
Jackson, Texas Tech. What I told you, the Red Raiders would steal one against them Sun Devils. I told you Jerry Maguire would get it right, good buddy. At least for that game.
True. But neither one of these coaches, I believe, can get their teams to contending in the Big 12. And I know where some people,
No.
It's like they're not going to get it done. I don't believe they can. Like, they can get them the ball games, but that's it. I mean, Coach McGuire's been overhyped.
True. Jackson, if this was in Nippert, I would pick Cincinnati. But since it's in Lubbock, I'll go Texas Tech. I'll go Tech 34-20.
You know what? I'll reluctantly go with Scott Satterfield on the road. I'm going to go with Cincinnati in a 27-24 victory. Man, I'm saying either 27 or 28 tonight. But Florida State, SMU, well, we like you, SMU. We're just irritated with Florida State. I hope that's
Here's
true.
the thing, Jackson. Here's the thing, Jackson. Florida State, SMU, nobody's going to watch it because we'll be busy watching Bama, Georgia. Like, we'll keep a close eye on it. But
we know somebody
Jackson,
that would say, we know someone that would say no one is in here long enough for Florida State, SMU. Well, they're watching Alabama, Georgia, or Penn State, Illinois.
Jackson, why do I get the feeling Florida State's going to win this game? I got a weird feeling they're going to win this game against SMU.
They're going to pull that horse dung. We know they're going to. They are going to pull it again and again and again. They're going to do just enough to give out momentum for 2025. Like, see, you forget those bad starts we had. See, we look good for the rest of the year. Yeah, no.
Jackson,
you sucked the first 3 weeks of the season. You sucked in week 0. You sucked on Labor Day. And you sure as heck sucked against Memphis. And you even sucked in your victory against Cal. I know, right? Tell me about it, 1-2. I don't blame you. You're a smart man.
Oh, Jackson,
you're smarter. You're smarter. 1-2. You're smarter than I am because I torture myself with this sort of thing. I mean, I torture myself with some of these games so that some of my friends won't have to. And Austin, I know he's torturing himself for us as well with this game. It's like, I'm not going to torture him with it. Like, he suffered enough from Florida State being disastrous.
Well, Jackson, they were supposed to be the talk of the town. They were supposed to be what was holding the ACC up. And then they go around all off season. We're going to leave you. We're going to leave you. We don't need you, ACC. We would do fine in the SEC and the Big Ten. Oh, really? Uh-huh.
Good luck.
Mm-hmm. Good luck.
Although,
SEC.
I kind of, yeah, because I mean, I would kind of like them in the SEC so that they can, like, be with some of their rivals. But other than that, that's another time for another day. We're not keeping you up till 4 or 5 a.m. for that. But Florida State, SMU. What's going on with SMU? Can we see an SMU victory in Dallas?
Jackson, you know what? SMU has had an up and down. They played Nevada really close week 0. And then they lost their game to BYU, which turns out BYU's not as bad as some people think. And then they blow out TCU in the Iron Skillet last weekend, and Preston Stone, RJ Hampton look really good. And then you got Florida State over here, Jackson. They're starting to become the Jekyll and Hyde all of a sudden. Like for
Florida
3 straight
State.
weeks, they looked pitiful. They looked awful. Mike Norvell, and now all of a sudden, they want to save their season, and they're bragging, "Oh, we beat Cal. We beat Cal." Well, do you want a cookie? You're supposed to beat Cal. You're not freaking Stanford. You're not
They
freaking
acted
Marshall.
like they acted like they were beating the 1938 Rose Bowl champions, Cal. Like that was back when before Bugs Bunny even appeared in cartoons. Like, really? You're bragging about beating Cal? That okay. I mean, that's how far down the university's gone. Yeah, okay.
Jackson, they give me a headache sometimes. I swear to you. And I feel like Jackson, they're going to find a way to give me another headache on Saturday night when we come back and talk about them again. Because Jackson, SMU has been up and down, and I think it continues. And it seems like Florida State, they're going to find a way to win this game. I'm going to go Florida State because I have a gut feeling that they're going to win this game, and then we're going to hear them say, we're going to run the table, and we're going to go to the ACC title game.
Yeah, no,
and I'm going to be – and it's just like, oh, brother.
Yeah. You're going to need to win out. Like, with the exception of your non-con games, you need to win out in conference play, and you need a lot of teams falling apart in your favor, which, what is it that I always say, Austin? Like, when we talk, well, off air, what do I always say about what you're not supposed to do?
As you say, Jackson, your famous quote, Jackson, is you should never put yourself in a situation where you need somebody else to win for you.
Agreed. Win or lose, you don't ever put yourself in that kind of position. That's a no-no. And
but
1-2 brings up a great point. Florida State's QB seems like he doesn't want to play football. No energy, enthusiasm at all. Very odd. It's like, I'm guessing he got all his money that he wanted and needed. So, I mean, he must be making some investments. I don't know. Dave Florida State's not even good enough to win in the new Pac-12.
That's bad. The Pac-12, the new Pac-12 is basically the old group of 5 teams. Good grief. Is that how far they've fallen, Jackson?
That's bad. That's bad. That is bad.
And 1-2 disagrees, says SMU is going to win big. I hope so, because then we could put this to rest that Florida State's going to run the table nonsense that they're trying to start. But you know what, Jackson? Florida State, something tells me they're going to pull off another upset.
Oh, man. Like, that whole thing all off season of, like you said, if we're going to leave you and, we're better than you, we're told how perfect we are and you don't do that with us. It's, oh my God, shut up, Florida State.
Just hush.
Right.
But Jackson, I think Florida State's going to win this game in an ugly, ugly, ugly game. 24-21 in Dallas.
I think SMU, and I hope I'm right on this, but SMU shuts down Florida State 21-17.
I hope you're right too, Jackson, but I got a bad feeling. Florida State's going to win another one.
Oh, man.
Is there a better game? Please tell me they have another better game for us.
Washington State, Boise State. That's got to be a good one. Can we see Washington State?
Oh.
This is a future conference game. Like, honestly,
This is an under Jackson. This is kind of an underrated sleeper game. It's 10 o'clock at night on the East Coast, 9 p.m. Central. This is kind of a sleeper, really good game. An undefeated Washington State team, a one-loss Boise, ranked 25th in the country. Yeah, ranked 25th. They're
yeah, but we
favored
live
by
for this.
a touchdown. Go ahead.
We live for this sort of thing, man. Like we live for this.
Oh,
This is what we get excited for. Like these late night games.
and and they have Boise favored by 8, basically a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. So Vegas is giving them the home field advantage. Jackson, this is a really underrated game. I don't think anybody should be going to sleep on this because, especially if you love watching good football players play, I know everyone likes to talk about Ollie Gordon and Quickshawn Junkins. Don't sleep on Ashton Jinsey. That guy's electric. He can bust the game
No,
open anytime. That's what makes
he's
Boise State dangerous.
he's got some huge legs. I would hate to be on his bad side. He is not somebody you want to mess with. That is a no.
In Jackson and Washington State's kind of, they won the Apple Cup, which is a big win within the rivalry. And it seems like the Pac-2 Jackson's doing all right for themselves. And this could be another big win, Jackson, for Washington State. Because if they win this game, Jackson, they would be 5-0 and would have a ranked win. Could Washington State start to teeter on maybe being a playoff team? I really think it's unlikely, but what do you think, Jackson?
I'm going to go with Boise State in a tenacious 31. No. Yeah, 31-20 victory over Washington State. Well, yeah.
And Dave Walensky says it's do or die for Boise State. They didn't win this game. They don't win this game. It's no playoffs.
Well, after all, that news involving UNLV should help them quite a bit, honestly.
Yeah, Jackson, this is one of the more underrated games. You know what, Jackson? Just for the sake of the Pac-2, you know what? I'm going to believe in the Cougs to go on the blue field and get a W. Give me Washington State. I like how they're playing. They're playing good football. They're finding ways to win. Give me Washington State 30-27. Oh, another great late night game. Arizona at Utah.
There we go.
Jackson, I'm gonna have to get the coffee ready Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, either that or get some ice, yeah, because either one's good. But
yeah, go ahead.
Isaac
Manners,
Wilson,
my Manners.
Dude thrived last week against Oklahoma State. He looked pretty good. I mean, I know that they didn't have Bad Moon Rising, old Cam Rising, but I will say there was trouble on the way for Oklahoma State, and there's trouble on the way for Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
I think Utah
yeah, Jackson.
I think Utah can win this one.
Yeah, I will say, Jackson, this is going to be really intriguing because, like you said, if Cam Rising doesn't play, their defense, Jackson, especially at home, Utah is a really good home team. Like, we've seen that years past. And I feel like Isaac Wilson, he's starting to come into his own. They're starting to let the running game get a little cooking. Defense, the defense really carried the way for him last week. And if Utah's defense continues to play like this, like me personally, Jackson, I think like I think Utah's made themselves. I wouldn't say the runaway favorites, but they've kind of made themselves the the favorite as we sit tonight. I think even without Cam Rising, they've shown against the better team in Oklahoma State in a hostile environment that they can go in there and get it done. But Arizona's coming off that bad loss, Jackson, to Kansas State. Can Trent McMillan and Noah Fafita get it together in Rice Eccles in altitude? Will that bye week have helped them? Will that bye week have helped them at all, Jackson, or will it?
No, but even if Arizona does lose this game, there's one thing to remember. They're technically still in conference play for the Big 12 title.
Yes, because of the Kansas State not counting as conference game. That is very important. But it does hurt their confidence that they did lose that game. But like you said, Jackson, this is a fun late night game. I would stay up for it and watch it.
Nice.
I just can't. I can't go with an upset. Not right now, Jackson. I think Utah, they're getting it together. They're at home. They're tough in front of the Musk and Rice Eccles and altitude. I think the explosive plays for Arizona, Utah's not going to allow it. I'm going to go Utah to win a grimy 21-18 game. I'm going to go 21-18 Utes at home. Win a grimy game.
28-17 Utah. And our last but not least game is the Oregon Ducks going up against the UCLA Bruins on Fox. What do you think about this game, good buddy?
And 1-2 wants to know why does K-State
Arizona Kansas State was played as a non-conference game, and it's going to be that way again next year. Unfortunately, neither one of the school, like when Arizona was announced, hey, we're joining the Big 12. Neither one of those schools could be able to find a replacement opponent in time. So they were like, you know what, let's play each other as a non-con game 2024, 2025. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, and the thing too is with the Pac-12, technically they were not dead yet. And 2026 is when they would officially be cut out of everything. But now all of a sudden they want to come alive again. Go figure. Mess everything up. But so basically is 1-2 says that's cheating. Yeah, I could see why that would be, because all the bowl affiliates of the Pac-12, they're still on for the next 2 years as well, because there was never nothing like. So they're just like, here, Pac-12, we'll put you in these bowls affiliates and these conference games, make everything work. It'll be fine. And I get, like, there's a lot of people like you that said that's cheating, that's not right to the other conferences. But the ACC's doing it next year as well. Is it Virginia and NC State, Jackson? Is that the game that they're doing it with?
Yep.
So the ACC's doing it too, where they're just like, hey, let's just not count this. Let's have it on our non-con resume. And everyone's like, okay. All parties agreed. I know some people are okay with it, some are not. But Rough Rider Return says, I'm about a half century older than Austin and have had a brain surgery, but I never lose my enthusiasm for college football. That's great. I mean, I'm glad that you have not lost your enthusiasm. You never lose that kid in you. Like, for crying out loud, we're getting excited about Arizona, Utah at 10:15 at night. I mean, who else would get excited about staying up that late? Ain't that right, Jackson?
Absolutely. No problem with that. I mean, this is what we go for. But if you're asking us to get up early at 7 a.m. for a Giants-Panthers game in Germany, who am I kidding? I think we would.
PNW says Mark might. Yeah, I was about to say Mark stays up late regardless because he does his call-ins. He's a hardworking man.
Yep.
Look,
Yeah. I mean, when you're doing like 40 channels, you're gonna be working hard, no doubt about it. I mean, because like we've been around like a lot of hard workers. Like we know plenty of them, and Mark, man, he's one of the hardest working men I've ever seen. But I will say he says he's not too crazy about being called the hardest working man on YouTube because he said, and I remember where he said that on the State of the Union of the Voice of College Football. He was like, I don't like it when people call me that.
I will say this though, Jackson. Is Oregon going to cover the spread real quick though?
Oh yeah,
Against
Oregon.
UCLA, they're going to. What's your score prediction? That way, it's on record.
Yeah, Oregon's going to win 42-17.
I'll go Ducks 37-13.
Oh, here we go.
But Jackson, we made it. We got our picks out there, so everyone knows our picks. We're not hiding from them. But
nope, we don't hide.
I tell you what, though, Jackson, if people really love our conversations, they would love a certain conversation you had on Monday night on the Voice of College Football at Alabama with you and Johnny Burks when you all sat down with. Take it away, Jackson.
Palmer Toms from Dogs HQ at On3. That was a fun one where we discussed a preview of the Alabama Crimson Tide going up against the Georgia Bulldogs. And we went over all kinds of stuff. What's going to be like for Nick Saban picking this game and even talking to both coaches. What's going to be like for him? Is it going to feel awkward? And so on and so forth. And we also went over what's going to be like for Georgia. We went over pretty much everything you can think of for Alabama, Georgia. And I'll tell you right now, it's going to be a wild ride. And you know what's funny, though? Georgia is 2-8 all time playing in Tuscaloosa. Yikes. That's not a good record. I could tell you right now. That's a no.
Yeah, that's an interesting record, Jackson. I did not.
No, that's bad.
But Jackson, if people don't want to listen to you yip yap about Alabama, where can they listen to you yip yap with multiple guests? If they want to hear you yip yap.
They can find me right here on YouTube at Jackson Johnson 979. They can also find me on X at JacksonVOCFB and on Instagram and Threads at Jackson Johnson 543908. But of course, you can find some of my Jackson episodes on YouTube and on X, where I have some of my latest guests, including my next episode, episode 51, with Cody Stovall from Locked On Oklahoma State, where we're going to be having quite a discussion about those Cowboys. What is going on with them? Will they be able to have more opportunities to get a Big 12 title? Or did they miss out already? Is Kansas State their last chance or something like that? Because we know it's a must-win game. But what's going on with Ollie Gordon? What is going on with him? That's something we're going to find out. We will be filming on Wednesday afternoon, of course, which, I guess it's today, so I'll have to hit the hay in just a bit for sure. But it will be released on Wednesday evening at 7:30 p.m. Central Time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. But first, there will be a promo. I think we're either going to release it Wednesday evening or on Thursday evening. Well, Thursday afternoon. But either way, you're going to get a glimpse of it. You're going to love it, and you're going to be very happy with this episode. And I've just found out I'm at 375 subs. Whoever just became my latest subscriber, thank you so much. All of you have helped make this channel happen, and you have most definitely helped make Austin's channel happen. Sports Talk with Austin. I'm going to play right now. We always have a great time, and we want to thank you so much for helping us getting closer to our goals. We appreciate you so much.
Yes.
We love you.
Yes. And just to iterate on that, Jackson, we thank y'all for being here. Y'all could have chosen to be anywhere else tonight, but you chose to be here with us, spend your Tuesday night with us, and we appreciate you and thank you. And we thank you for spending your Saturday nights with us. But you didn't have to, but here you are. So we thank you. We appreciate you. And we try to get everyone's comments in as best as we can. And like Jackson said, we're only going to get better and grow and get better. It's a process. No one's perfect. But we're here. We love you all. Whether you're an Iowa fan, Alabama, even if you're a Kentucky fan, I'll still talk to you. But yeah, it's a bitter pill to swallow. But anyway, like even if you're an Auburn fan, Jackson will still talk to you, but he might get a little nasty during rivalry week. His claws come out.
For me to be really nasty, something really bad would have to happen. But I'm always gonna make sure to be nice with everybody. That I can promise you.
Thank you. But just from the bottom of my heart, thank you all. Appreciate you. And Jackson, let the people know. I don't know if you promoted your Twitter.
I did.
But okay, so now it's my turn. Okay. So obviously you can find me here on YouTube, Sport Talk with Austin 2002, where I'm at 37 subs. Not very many, but I'll work my way there. We'll get there. And then you can also find me on Twitter where I rant about the Dallas Cowboys. I'll be talking about the Louisville Cardinals, and I'll be promoting shows and putting out clips from this video. And we'll be back Saturday night after the final games go final. And then we'll be back next Tuesday, about 10:30 Central, 11:30 Eastern. And then we'll be back to normal schedule Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. And we will have plenty of fun. And I cannot believe, Jackson, we're halfway through the year almost.
We're halfway there. Well, we're getting closer there. And for that, we bid you a good night and to sleep well and stay safe and enjoy the first days of fall. Roll Tide, everybody.
Go Cards!